Okay, we'll just start the class. I was telling you about the classification of the parasitoids. Okay, the parasitoids are classified in different ways. Okay, so based on the how long they are going to spend on the host. Okay, so whether they are facultative, obligatory, whether they are attacking the particular stage means egg parasitoid. So based on the different ways, the parasitoids are classified. Next, I'll be moving on to the kinds of parasitism. Kinds of parasitism. Here, there are around 4 or 5 types of the parasitism that you find in case of the insect parasitoids. Okay, the first one you have is the simple parasite, or it is also called as a parasitism. So simple parasitism means what? Okay, so here it is a single attack of a parasitoid on a host. Okay, that is referred as a simple parasite. So all the insect parasitoids, what you call them as a beneficial, they are coming under the simple parasitism. So that means here you can see example, it may be a trichogramma or it may be a goniosus. So they are attacking the host for the first time. This act is referred as a simple parasitism. And during the attack, so they may lay 1 or as many eggs, so it is desirable, okay, because it depends upon the number of the eggs, it depends upon the nature of the parasitoid, whether it lays the eggs singly or whether it lays the eggs in group, or it again, that is what I have mentioned here. During the attack, it may lay 1 or many number of the eggs. This is called as the simple parasitism. Example, you have the trichogramma evanescens or the chilonis, or it may be goniosus nephantidis. So it is a single act. Okay, so this is called as a simple parasitism. The next you have is the super parasitism. So here, many times the students get confused between the super and the multiple parasitism, which I am going to cover next. Okay, what is a super parasitism? So super parasitism means many individuals of the same species, they are attacking the host at a time. Okay, so here that is what in here. So because try to remember, S means it is the same species. Okay, many individuals, that means the females of the same species, they will be attacking a single larva at a time, or so there will be a gap of 1 or 2 hours gap will be there, but they are attacking the same host. That is called as a super parasitism. So you may be thinking, so when many females are attacking a single parasitoid, so what is the chance of survival? So there also it is the one which is strong, the one female which lays the eggs first. So those young ones will be more stronger because their young ones will hatch first and then they will be defending. Okay, so based on the survival of the fittest, the whatever the survival rate depends. Okay, so many individuals of the same. Are you able to hear my voice?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So many individuals of the same parasitoid, they attack a host at a time. For example, here you can see this is the one I have given already, that is the Apanthalus glomeratus. Okay, so which mainly attack the first instar or the second instar larvae of the Pyrus brassicae. So here the same caterpillar may be attacked by the another Apanthalus glomeratus. So because of that only in the caterpillar you had seen so many number of the young ones coming out for the pupation. Okay, so that is the one. And another, I am giving the example for the pupal parasitoid. So that is a Trichospilus pupivora. Okay, so here, this is the one which is attacking the pupae of the coconut black-headed caterpillar. So here you can see, this is the pupa of the CBHC. So where you can see the 2 females are there. So they lay the egg into the same pupa. Okay, so here you can see the numbers will be more. Okay, so that is what the super parasitism. Okay, so that's many individuals of the same species attack the parasitoid host at a time. That is the super parasitism. Next here you have is the another one, that is a multiple parasitism. So the difference with the super and the multiple parasitism here the individuals belonging to the different species are attacking the host simultaneously. But here, individuals of the same species are attacking the host at a time. So that is only the difference. So more than one species of the parasite attack the same host simultaneously. That is a multiple parasitism or a parasite. Okay. So here you can see, I can give the example for the coconut black-headed caterpillar, where, as I told you, early instar is preferred by the Bracon brevicornis or Eriborus trochanteratus, that is the Ichneumonidae, and Goniosus staphylococcus. All these are attacking the larvae of the BHC, but it is different timings. The timings may be different, but they are attacking the larvae of the coconut black-headed caterpillar belonging to the different species. So this is a multiple parasitism. Next here you have is the hyperparasitism. So this hyperparasitism or the secondary parasitism is not beneficial to man. So what is the definition says here? You can see a parasite itself is parasitized by the another species of the parasite. For example, the primary parasitoid, okay, so that is attacked by the another parasite, that we call it as a hyperparasitoid. I think so during the classification where I had told you primary, secondary, tertiary, and the tertiary I had told you. So during that time I had told you, so the secondary parasitoid, so they are not beneficial, they are the harmful because they are attacking the beneficial parasitic stages. So secondary parasite and the hyperparasitism, they both are same. So parasite itself is parasitized by the another species of the parasite, that is called as a hyper or the super parasitism. So here I'll just give you the simple one example you just remember. So you can see the caterpillar here. So this caterpillar belongs to the family Spingidae. Okay, last time you have heard that is the family Spingidae under the moth. Okay, so this is the Spingidae caterpillar which is infected by the, that is the Cotacea. So the Cotacea is a braconid. So Cotacea species here, whatever we have, they have given, it is an endoparasite which is a gregarious. But here you can see for the pupation, as I told you, they come out for the pupation. So what happens? The pupal stage of this braconid, that is a Cotacea, will be attacked by the another parasite. Okay, so here you can see, can you see the small where I have made the circle? So this is a hyperparasite which is attacking the pupa within the cocoon. So this is called as a hyperparasitoid, and this belongs to the family Pteromalid wasp. Okay, so that is the family is the Pteromalidae. Okay, so this is what the hyperparasitism. A parasite itself is parasitized by the another species of the parasite, that is called as a hyperparasite. Similarly, here I have given the example again a chalcid, okay, which is attacking the cocoon. Again, here also it is a braconid attacking the pupa which is within the silken cocoon. This is called as a hyperparasitism. And the last you have is the autoparasitism. Did you got what is the meaning of hyperparasitism?
Yes, ma'am.
Next you have is the autoparasitism, and it is also called as a adelphoparasitism. So here, what is this auto or the adelphoparasitism? So here you can see a female spend a life cycle in a different way, and the female is spending her life cycle in a different way. Here you can see a parasite parasites its own species. For example, here I will just tell you, because before directly going into the definition, here I will tell you. So one example I am taking you here is the Encarsia formosa, which is a parasite on the whitefly nymph. So what happens here? Mainly this example here I am giving you. So this Encarsia is attacking the Cocophagus scutellaris, which is a soft scale. So here you can see these are the soft scales that you find on the any plant. Okay, so what happens? This female of the Encarsia, she will lay the egg into the Cocophagus, that is the soft scales. So what happened? The progeny, whatever it comes, so ultimately we'll be having the male and the female. Okay, so what happens again? The female, what she will do after mating with the male, again she goes in search of the again the scales for laying the egg. But what happens? the male is not a parasitic. So here you can see it start feeding on its own species. That is the whatever the young ones of its own are there, so that will be fed by the male. So that is what you can see here. A parasite parasitizes its own species. It is a rare phenomenon. It is not a common one. In a rarely condition, you can see it is a special type of parasitism in which a female developed as a primary parasitoid. So female is always beneficial. It is a primary parasite, but the male is a secondary parasitoid through the females of its own species. Okay, because the male has come from the female of its own species, but it is leading the life of the secondary parasitoid or the hyperparasitoid. That is what the acho or the adelpho parasitism. Okay, so that means.
Speak it again, ma'am.
So here I'll just tell you once again, autoparasitism means, for example, in every insect, so we have a male and the female. Okay, so what happens? The female, she will select the soft scale and she will lay the egg. So from that coprogeny, so again you are going to get the male and the female. But what is the difference of the next progeny is that the female again after mating with the male, she will again hunt for that is the soft scale. But what the male is doing, male is not doing any, means it is not having a role in the egg laying. What it will do, it start feeding on the young ones of its own species, that is the Encarsia formosa of the one species. It is that is called as a atto or the adelpho parasitism. So that is why we are calling the female is always a primary parasitoid and the male is a secondary parasitoid or the hyperparasitoid. Did you got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it is a rare phenomenon, so that is why I'm mentioning here, because feeding on its own species, it is a dangerous, okay, but it is a rare phenomenon that you find in the few species of the parasitoids. Okay, so this is called as atto or the adelpho parasitism. And finally, you have is the klepto parasitism. So what is the meaning of the klepto is that a parasite attacks the host, okay, which is already parasitized by the another species of the parasitoid. For example, here I am giving you that is a pest, that is a pine shoot moth. So this is the one which mainly attack the pine species of the plant. Okay, so here this is the caterpillar feeding on the pine shoot. That is what we call it as a pine shoot moth. So what the parasitoid, that is the Eurytoma pinni. So what the peculiar behavior of this Eurytoma pinni is that it will not attack the larvae of the pine shoot moth for a first time. So only if it is parasitized by the another species only, then she prefers to lay the egg into the larvae of the pine shoot. That is called as a kleptoparasitism. And this is also a rare character. You will not find it most commonly. So again, it depends. It decides. That means Erythroma pinni is highly competitive. Okay. So the nutrition of the primary parasitoid, plus it feeds on the larvae, whatever it has. So that is the what you call it as a kleptoparasitism. So these are the 6 kinds of the parasitism that you find in case of the parasitoid. Did you got what is the kleptoparasitism, students? That means Erythroma will not attack the larvae of the pine shoot unless it is attacked by the primary that is a primary parasite. So only if the primary parasite has attacked the larvae of the shoot moth, so then only this Erythroma pinni goes and lays the egg into the caterpillar of the pine shoot moth. So that is called as a kleptoparasitism. So these are the 6 kinds of the parasitism. So these all are very important. Many times in the exams, they will ask you one or the other out of 6. So one is a simple parasitism. It is a single attack of a parasite on a host. It is called as a simple. Superparasitism means many individuals of the same species attack the same, means many individuals of the same species attack the same host simultaneously. That is a superparasitic. the super parasitism. Multiple parasitism means many individuals belonging to the different species are attacking the larvae at the same time. That is the multiple. Then I had told you about the what is the another one? Hyperparasitoid. So a parasite is parasitized by the another species of the parasitoid is called as a hyperparasitoid, which is not beneficial to human beings. And the last two I have told you is the atto or the adelpho parasitism. That means female is a always obligatory parasite. It is always an obligatory primary parasite, where male is a super parasitoid in the next life cycle. That is the atto or the adelpho. And in case of the klepto parasitism, a parasite refers to lay the or attack the host only if it is parasitized by the another species of the parasite. That is called as a klepto parasitism. Okay. Next, moving on to the final you have is the what are the ideal qualities of a parasitoid? Because many times we are going to import the parasitoid from the other country for the in the biological control program, because many insects, so they have been come to India from the other countries, along with when we import the material, that is the food material or the any of the plant material. When we import, so we are going to get the insect pests which are not there in India. So suddenly we can, just like a COVID, you can see the outbreak of those pests. So under such conditions, so we are going to import the natural enemies from its native and we are going to control it. So during the import, or what are the good qualities of a parasitoid? So you cannot select all the parasitoids that have listed in the management. Only certain parasitoids have been selected for the pest management. So what are those qualities we are looking in a parasitoid for the exploitation in the pest management? The first one you have is a high host searching ability. So that means, well, so whether the pest is hidden within the stem or hidden within the flower, anywhere if it is there, so the parasitoid, it has to hunt and she has to lay the egg. So that is the host searching ability. Okay. Next you have is the host range. So that means number of the hosts that are attacked by the parasitoid should be narrow. So this narrow host range, why we prefer is that, so that whenever you release the population into the wild, so that it is not moving to other. Okay, because if it is having a wide host range, what happens? It will not stay in your field. So whatever, if there is a more preferred insect pest is there nearby your field, all the parasitoid will leave your field and go there. So only because of that intention, in order to get a better control, we always prefer to select a parasite which is having a narrow host range. Okay, and also you can see the life cycle. The life cycle should not be too long. What happens if the parasitoid is having a long life cycle? So by the time the pest, if it is having the short life cycle, so the pest will be completing more number of the generation in a cycle and more populations will be produced. In case if the parasitoid is having a short life cycle also, it is able to multiply in large number in the same speed as that of the pest, so that it can give the good control. So that is the third point. So having a life cycle that of the pest. And then you have is the fecundity. So fecundity, number of the eggs that are laid by the female is called as a fecundity. So that means the whatever the parasitoid you are going to release, she should have the high fecundity. The number of the eggs should be more than 100, 200, depending upon that. So the whatever the point is there, the egg laying capacity of the female should be the fourth factor, and survive in all the habitats. So because when we try to find out the same climatic condition what is there in India, so the same climatic condition where it exists in other countries, from such localities we are going to select the parasite. So then only they will thrive. Otherwise, because of the severe differences in the climatic conditions, the pest may not, no, that means the parasitoid may not establish into the release field. So because of that, not to avoid the mortality, so you can select a parasitoid which survive in all the habitats. That is the one. And you have is the next point, that is amenable for mass multiplication in the laboratory, because you cannot import those parasitoids from the other countries every time. You have to pay heavy amount for that. So once you import the small population, we should be able to propagate them or produce them in a large quantity in the laboratory itself. So because of that, because all the parasitoid, you cannot multiply them in large number in the laboratory. So that is also another requirement when you go for the import of the any of the parasitoid. And it should be able to quickly reduce the pest population, suppress the pest population quickly, and absence of this and the multiparasitism. As already I told you, super and multiparasitism are not important, because super means it is the harmful to the primary parasitism. Multiple parasitism means many individuals of the many parasitoids belonging in the different species are attacking the same host. There is a competition is set up, and some of them may be completely removed from the nature. So always super and multiparasitism should not be there. So these are these 8 points are very important. Many of the exams you have this, write the ideal qualities of a parasitoid under such condition. So you have to write, so you have to select a parasitoid which is having a good host searching ability, having a narrow host range, and it should have a short life cycle, amenable for the mass multiplication in the laboratory. It should have the high fecundity, and it should reduce the population at a faster rate, and that is a super and the multiparasitism should be absent. Okay, I think so. With this, I'll just complete the topic that is on parasitoid. So please, students, if you have any doubts, okay, you can just discuss so that I can move on to the next topic. Okay, so if you have any doubts, you can just discuss about this parasitoid now only. Any doubts regarding the topic review parasitoids? So always I had told you parasitoids are closely related to the pest. Okay, so they will be always, parasitoid should depend upon the host. Okay, and that is how both are related. So without a host, the parasitoid cannot survive. And also when I was telling the definition of the parasitoid, I had told you, so they have a close relationship with the host. So that makes them as a narrow host, that is the narrow host species. Okay, so which is an advantage for the biological control. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next example, I think so. For this, I can give you the Trichogramma chilonis. It attacks only the eggs of the Lepidoptera, not the others. So that is what the host relation. Okay. Then any other questions?
Ma'am,
Tell me.
how does the multiparasitism affect as ideal parasitoid? Doesn't, ma'am?
For example, you have released a parasitoid, which is a larval parasitoid. Okay, and it has attacked the larva and it has laid the egg in your released field. Suppose if there is another parasitoid which is also preferring there is a larvae of the your whatever you have released. So there is a competition. What happens if the another parasitoid which is there in our native, if it is more stronger than the released population, ultimately after when the young ones hatch within or outside, they destroy the released whatever the parasitoids of the released population, and it will take up the upper hand. So because of this only, the multiparasitism is not preferred. Did you got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. They all are not desirable qualities. Multiple parasitism, all are not desirable qualities. Super parasitism also, there is a more mortality. The female, she will lay, again she will go, but what happens inside, what it fights first, it will be more stronger and it will fight and destroy all the eggs which are present. Okay, so all again inside also they will fight, and also even post defense mechanism will be there. So they have to fight with everything, and finally they can complete the life cycle. So because of that, only super and the multiple parasitism, it is not preferred. Okay. More number of the host cannot increase survival chance, as we mostly talk about food web and understanding. What is the meaning of this?
Like
Is your name?
Ma'am Devendra Danse, ma'am.
Devendra, what happens in nature? Always there competition is there, and the food cycle or food web, it is there. Okay, that we cannot avoid. So what is your question is, more number of the host cannot increase survival chance, as we mostly talk about the food web and the list, it is there. So for example, you don't take it as a negative, because host, if you take the insects, okay, so their multiplication rate is also very high.
Chetan,
Chetan,
off your mic. Chetan,
okay, so the insects are also having a high multiplication rate. So always there is a lot of competition. As I'm telling you, egg laying by the by the female, it is not over. So the young ones has to face a lot of difficulty to become an adult. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Then any questions? Shall I move to the next topic? Can you see the slide now?
Yes,
Biological control of bee.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. So until now, I think so I have told you about the economic classification of the insects. Okay. And I have given you the predator, parasitoid. I think so. One more I missed in the. Wait. So difference. Okay. Sorry. So there is another important question. So that is the difference between the parasitoid and predator. Okay, so many times again this is the asked question. So here the common differences you can see, the predator, as you know, that it should be very active, because she has to hunt for the prey and then she has to eat it. So the predators are very active. Other side, it is they are sluggish and they are stronger and larger than the prey. So here they are smaller and they are not stronger than the host. And here the predator, it is intelligent, you know that. So because it has to sketch, it has to make the sketch for catching the prey. So that is why more intelligent than the prey. Here it is not much, okay, because only it is using the sensory or sensory cues for locating the host or finding the size and everything. So it is not much intelligent as when you compare it to and it catch the prey in case of the predator. predator, but it is not the case with the parasitoid. So they attack during the course of the development, the host will be killed. So that is the one difference again you can find. And for the completion of the life cycle, the predators need more number of individuals, whereas the parasitoid completes the life cycle on a single host. Attack a prey only to obtain a food for itself, not to the young ones. Okay, so because again the young ones are doing the same thing, only in the first initial stage the mother may assist, but later so they have to catch and feed on their own. But here in case of the parasitoid, it is for the offspring. The female will hunt the host and she will lay the egg not for her, but it is for her offsprings. Locomotory organs and the mouth parts are very well developed. That I have already told you. It is not well developed because it is not required. Oviposition and ovipositor not specialized in case of the predator, but here is specialized. So I told you when I was talking about the adaptations in case of the parasitoid, I had told you no other structures are much adapted, but only the ovipositor is very much specialized. Okay, it is having the sense organ of also been feeding and also finding the right host. And at last you have, they don't have any intimate association with the prey, and they have. So these are the some of the differences between the predator and the parasitoid. And another thing, students, I think so you'll be coming back to college next month or so. Okay, anyway, you'll be coming back. But again, in this course also, you have to go for the insect collection. So here it is not as you collected in the first course. I think so still you are collecting the insects in the first course. But here the category of the insects you are collecting, it is different. Okay, so here also you have to collect the 50 adult insects, no immatures you have to collect. So here I have given the numbers, what it should be. Okay, for okay, so to collect 10%, okay.